We're going to move forward and discuss creating and submitting applications, and I believe we're just going to pick up right where we left off. So if you recall, we got into the ezFedGrants system. We went to My Applications. We told it that we want to create an application. It asked us to search for an opportunity. We entered in the criteria that we wanted and clicked Search, and we came up with a list of search results. So after completing this module, you should be able to then describe or explain how to create an application for that funding opportunity that we just searched for. And as you can see, we've essentially picked up where we've left off. So we've entered in our search criteria for our opportunity. We clicked the search button. Our search results showed up below. At that point, it's really just a matter of selecting a funding opportunity from those results by clicking on the Create Application link on the right-hand side for the result that you would like to create an application for. If you recall, I believe that the funding opportunity title at the very, very top said bananas. If I want to create an application for the bananas opportunity, I would just, on the right-hand side, choose the Create Application link. That would then basically just open up our standard form 424, so the SF 424 should appear. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you do get these navigation circles that show up that will kind of give us a sense for not only how long the actual process is, but will give us a sense of where we are as well. So as you can see, circle number 1 is highlighted or colored in the SF 424. Now these forms should be the exact same forms that you may have been filling out on paper, for example. The only difference is that here they are electronic forms. So we won't go into too much detail about filling out the forms. Really the purpose of the training is to just give you a sense for what the process is to, for example, create and submit an application. If you do have questions about how to fill out an SF 424, for example, I recommend contacting your agency representative. They should be able to point you in the right direction. We've told it that we wanted to create an application for the bananas opportunity, for example, and now we need to fill out the appropriate forms. So here you just want to choose the option for the type of application that you're creating in Section 1. So here our type of submission is application, and of course this is a new application. I do want to point out to you that some of the fields may be gray. The gray fields are going to indicate fields where there will be potentially pre-populated information or where information will show up later on. You do want to typically enter information into the white action fields, for example. You may not need to fill out all fields. Some of them might be pre-populated. Again, any fields that are required will be marked with an asterisk. So if you don't see an asterisk, it's an optional field. So here where it says applicant identifier, there's no asterisk associated with it. We may not need to actually fill that in. So this slide here basically is just kind of reiterating that. Gray fields will indicate your auto-populated fields or fields where the information is yet to be determined. Any pertinent information will go into the white action fields. You then would just scroll down and fill out the contact information section. Again, any fields marked with the red asterisk will be required fields. I think that's going to be the main takeaway here. But the idea being that once you fill out all of the appropriate fields and all of the appropriate information is entered in the right places, in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you would then click Next to move to the next step of the application creation process. The globe that we look at now advance, and as you can see, we are now at step number 2, the SF 424A. Again, here we're just filling out forms that are electronic. In this instance, you would complete the SF 424A form. Again, please keep in mind that your information can be saved at any time by clicking the Save button on the top right of the screen, and that button should show here with my poorly drawn arrow. To move to the next form, as we saw earlier, you can just click the Next button on the top right of the screen, or alternately, you can also click within the individual navigation circles themselves to also move forward or backward within the process. So you fill out the 424A, you click the Next button, it takes you to step number 3, which is the Partners section. So here, you're just going to complete the partner section with, for example, your primary administrative contact or program point of contact. Again, those required fields that I just mentioned will be marked with a red asterisk. Again, all other fields are going to be optional. But also keep in mind that depending on what agency that you're working with, they may require more partners listed or less. But if it is a required field, it'll be marked with an asterisk. So then you just want to go ahead and complete the additional details section as well. Again, required fields will be marked with a red asterisk, and your information can be saved at any time by clicking the Save button on the top right of the screen. It might be worthwhile to click Save every now and then so that if, for example, for whatever reason, maybe you have to exit the application before completing it, you don't lose all of your work. Maybe the power goes out and your computer shuts down. If you save that, you won't have to be filling in the same information over and over and over again. So there's a question here, who are the different agencies that will be participating? Is this for competitive grants? Competitive grants are certainly a type of grant. Again, the grant type or the federal financial assistance type is going to depend on what's available or what the agency, I guess, has authorization to enter into agreements for. Currently, there are a number of agencies participating. I know that APHIS, NIFA are currently participating. I know that there are some others, OAO, some of the offices, I guess, are participating as well. There are some other agencies coming on board, so AMS. There are some others that I can't remember off the top of my head. But if you have questions about which agencies will be participating or if the agency that you're working with is participating, feel free to reach out to them and ask, and they'll be able to let you know if they plan on participating or if they currently are. Also, I'll see if I can dig up a full comprehensive list and get that over to you as well by email. The grant type is really going to depend on what the participating agency has the authorization to enter into. But that's a very good question. Creating an application. So you just want to complete the additional details section, fill out all the required fields, and then click the Next button on the top right of the screen. Down below, you'll note that you want to also complete the attachment section by scrolling to the bottom of the page and clicking on the red Attach button to the right of the required attachment. So here, and I'm just going to point it out, we can see that we've got, in this example, 2 required attachments, and you know that they're required because they're marked by red asterisks. So if I want to get my detailed project budget / narrative, for example, I'm just going to click that Attach button to go ahead and attach it. To add any other type of attachments that aren't potentially required or listed here, for example, you'll note that at the bottom there is a link that says click here to attach additional files. From there, you'll be prompted to add a file title for those non-required attachments. So the required attachments, I guess, aren't the only attachments that you can add on. You can add your own, but if you add your own, you're going to need to enter in a file title for that as well. But you do want to at least get the required ones. Keep in mind that the required attachments for an application are going to depend on the instrument type, the recipient type, for example, and the radio button selections in the additional details section of the application. A check mark will appear next to items that have been successfully attached, and we can see that in the example. After all the forms are completed, the application will now be marked as draft pending signature, and then the process will advance to signatory official review. And that essentially is how you create an application in ezFedGrants. You essentially go in, you find an opportunity that you would like to apply to, you click that Create Application link off to the right-hand side of the opportunity, you fill out all the electronic forms, the 424, the 424A, potentially. You fill out the partner section and any additional details, and then you add the necessary attachments. And once you do that, it does then advance to the signatory official for final review and submission, essentially.